Welcome to my men's mental health journey today and today's video, and it's past midnight. I've got a ton of things to do, and I'm not feeling 100% well, so I'm going to try and go easy on myself, but I'm also conscious I set myself targets each day. So I've got to do the minimum. Otherwise, I've got to do double tomorrow. But I'm at the same time trying to be gentle with myself. How am I feeling? I've not felt so good recently, and I think because my diet's not been as good, that's impacted it, even though I know this. So I've put in limits again for what my diet should be. What I'm trying to really do at the moment is give myself 3 shoulds and 3 musts each day, and then if not, I have to do double the next day, and then 3 no's. And I've been very good at not doing the no's, which are like no alcohol, social media restrictions, which include checking profiles or whatever, that kind of thing, that would trigger me. So I've been sticking to that. And then the other ones, I just sat around money and limiting, but not limiting, not spending ridiculously, but allowing myself freedom. So that's kind of what I've set. But I've been careful not to put too much on me because it can be exhausting. I think my biggest challenge right now is feeling good within inside myself. I've gone through like 2 lots of 2-hour videos from the community I'm in now that I joined officially today. I interviewed one of the main instructors as well on the podcast, which was cool. I had a really good interview with someone earlier. I was interviewed. So yeah, how am I feeling? Not so great, if I'm honest. And I guess I'm figuring it out as I'm making this and just being transparent. I was talking about men's mental health earlier and saying I don't have all the answers. I'm very much on the journey of kind of having these highs and lows. And I've shared quite openly with people that sometimes I go into depressive spells, but I also go into, sometimes it can go hand in hand with boredom, I feel. And I think that's when you give up a lot of things. I think I'm finding transitioning from a life of alcohol and partying quite hard. Definitely beneficial on the next day when you don't wake up with severe anxiety or depression from not having it. But there's just like those slight highs of when you feel good. But I can get that from like interviews and talking with people. I think being around people is a big factor as well. And what I feel like is really coming up for me, there's a part of me that's like I've said previously, finding a relationship for me is a really big one. And yeah, I've been gutted in recent situation where it didn't work out. And yeah, just like that's a big one for me. But at the same time, I realise there's elements in my life outside of that don't quite align. Even though I've got lots of opportunities, such networks and people in my life, I know the financial freedom I want isn't quite there, and there's a block inside of me. And even though I'm doing very creative, mission-led things, definitely I feel like the element of fun in my life without alcohol I haven't quite got to that place yet of discovering what it is. Obviously I make these kind of like videos and podcasts, and my creative element is fun to a degree. It's just a bit of a transition. I guess I don't know if I've been in this place where like before, when I've given up alcohol, I've got like this set amount in my head. So I guess that's really what I'm talking about today. And I'm going to call the episode is about giving up alcohol. I guess like in the past when I've given up alcohol, I've had in my mind a set amount of time that I've been giving it up for. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, I'm gonna have alcohol again and enjoy things, which is wasn't the greatest way to think, because when I got back to alcohol, I would get into bad drinking habits again, even though if I was 6 months sober and that kind of thing. Whilst now, like I'm in the place, I'm like, I just don't drink alcohol, and I've got these mechanisms and systems in place not to do it. But yeah, I guess I'm a little bit lost. But I got a new community of good people. So then the question is, and what I've been learning a lot from Danny Morale in this community, even though it cost me a fair bit of all the things I've invested in with it, but like, that's the thing he teaches about money. I shouldn't be saying those kind of words either, but like you should be thinking money's abundance and effortless, but I'm not feeling abundance in my life in general, even though I've got it. I've got so many things going for me. This is a right ramble, this podcast today. It's very late. But just being honest, I think for me, it's just focusing on feeling good. Which is freaking hard sometimes. And I know it doesn't come from circumstance. I know it doesn't come from having a relationship. I know it doesn't come from getting a certain amount of money or a certain amount of business or so far in your career or what else, some kind of achievement. I know it comes from inside. It's just been a lifelong challenge for me to generate joy within. I know, but I also believe it's our natural state. It's love, and that's one thing alcohol did. It just cleared out the negative stuff, but then it would come back like 10 times worse, because that's what alcohol does. Exercise helps a bit. But yeah. And then when you date someone you really like, that's a dopamine hit up, and that. But you got to be careful you're not so reliant on like that for just feeling good. You got to feel good with inside yourself. They're just a compliment to you, and you can support them. So yeah, I guess the key thing I'm learning is to generate joy, fulfillment, and abundance from the inside. I know I've got all these amazing qualities outside, like all these skill sets. It's just I'm just being very transparent as a man in his almost mid-30s now. I guess it is mid-30s, but 34. But yeah. Finding joy and it's quite scary in some parts to feel like will I ever feel joy truly? And I have to have faith I will. When I say joy, joy without alcohol, joy without a relationship, joy without. I'm not saying I can't have those things as well. Ideally wouldn't have alcohol, but I'm not saying I couldn't have a relationship, but I'm saying can I experience or like an excessive amount of money, but it's like can I experience joy? It's just joy. Finding it really hard. And the great personal growth teachers try and make it very simple. Yeah. I think it's almost like I've got too much information in my head to know what to execute. I'm going to stop here because this is me just being real and recording today and just on a bit of a down point, but can only pick up, right?